Hello, everyone. Welcome to the season of spiritual recharge in 2025. I'm excited to be here to begin this journey with us. Every day, we will discuss on faith. That's what we're focusing on this year. It is faith contemplations. I know that this is going to be a transformative experience for every participant. So I encourage you to get your friends, your family, your neighbors, your loved ones to be a part of this, as this is going to be a blessing. It is faith contemplations. In this year of manifestation, God is leading us to learn the secrets of how faith works so that we can manifest the desires of our heart and the promises that He has given to us. But first things first. You see, everything that comes from our lives comes from the background of the identity that we have of ourselves. And so the question we must ask ourselves first of all is, who am I? So I'm asking you, who are you? You see, when people are asked this question, they oftentimes don't really answer the question. So when you ask someone, who are you? They say, my name is so and so. But your name is only a label. That's a set or group of people. It could be your parents, it could be anybody else. Named you, a tag they gave to you. That is not you. That is a label that you carry. So, who are you? You are not your body. Sometimes people, when they are asked who they are, they, point to their physical appearance. They look at themselves in the mirror and they think they're looking at themselves. But you are not your body. All right? You are not your body. As the scripture shows us, your body is only where you live. It's a coat you wear, but that's not you. One day you put out or you put off the body, but you will still exist. So who are you? A lot of people look at their past, their stories of the past, their experiences, what they have been through, and they identify themselves by all these things. But you are not all the stories you're telling yourself. You were you before those stories happened in your life. So again, who are you? Some people even think they are their minds. You are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. In fact, you're not just not your thoughts. You are not even in control of your thoughts as you think. How many times have you tried to stop yourself from thinking a certain thought and it still keeps coming? If you were in control of your thoughts, then you could think whatever you wanted to think. You could choose your thoughts. You could select empowering thoughts and good thoughts only. But how many people do we see in the world, including ourselves, who struggle with thoughts that we know are not correct, thoughts we know are not right, thoughts that cause us pain, all right, thoughts that steal our peace, our joy, our happiness, but we are still having those thoughts? That tells you that you don't even control your thoughts. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I do not want to think about this person? And boom, after you have said that, the thought of that person now fills your mind. The more you fight against the thoughts you don't want to have, the more the thoughts increase. See, that shows you are not really the one producing your thoughts. Your mind produces thoughts on its own, just like your heart pumps blood. It's not personal. Thoughts arise without your control. They come and go just like a weather. And it is all based on the programming, the conditioning that you have been exposed to. But that is not you. You see, from the time you were born, from your childhood, you were called by name. You were taught what was right and what was wrong according to the exposure, the thoughts, the ideas, and the ideals of those who are teaching you. You were given something to believe. Culture shaped you. They told you who you were. They told you what was possible, what was not possible. You grew and you created an identity out of all that idea that you were fed. And that is now what you call yourself. But that identity that you have is an illusion, because that's not the real you. That's not the real you. A lot of people define themselves by their past experiences, but you are not your past experiences. It is that identity that you have created from all that you've been through from your childhood till now. That identity is what is called the ego. And that is what creates your thoughts. You see, the way you analyze anything that happens, the thoughts you have concerning anything in your life, if another person observed the same thing, they would have different thoughts entirely. So which one is correct? Which one is true? Well, none of them are real, because your thoughts are simply a creation of your mind, and they come and go just like weather. Now, if you take away the name, take away the identity, the stories you have been told, take away the events that happened in your life, all right? Remove all those things you wore, those invisible garments by which you have identified yourself. Who are you? You find that what is left there is that nameless, formless, limitless presence within. Just that presence that is there. That awareness that observes everything. That is what we call the spirit. That is who you truly are. You are not all the passing fancies. You are not the passing illusions that you see. With all the things that is going on in your world, there is a person on the inside who observes, including your thoughts, the thoughts that come to your mind. Just like we have seen, thoughts come like weather. It changes, it comes and goes. Sometimes thoughts that produce feelings of unhappiness, sadness come to your mind. Okay? Another time, thoughts of happiness come to your mind. But who is the presence observing those thoughts? You find out that the thought is not you. In fact, you can do this. It takes some mastery over self to be able to do it, but it can be done. You can actually do it. All right? In fact, you can start at this moment to engage in none of your thoughts. Just observe. Observe how thoughts come and go. Just recognize them as thoughts for what they are. Thoughts, just thoughts, that's what they are. Just recognize them. Don't engage. Just recognize your own thought, as if in your mind you are looking at, thoughts coming and going. You will begin to understand how to detach from thoughts that paralyze people. See, a lot of people have identified themselves so much with their thoughts that they have lost a sense of who they are, who they truly are according to God's word. They have lost touch with their spirit man. They are only in touch with their emotions, and those emotions are products of thoughts unchecked, thoughts uncontrolled. You see? But that's careless. That is not the way God has designed us to live. Your mind was created to be a tool, like a computer, that you will use, not what will control you. You are to use your mind, not your mind running the show of your life. Because you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings or your emotions. Those things are not you. The awareness that sits and observes, the presence that observes everything that is going on in your life, that is the real you. It is that presence, that spirit that God breathed into the body, that gives life to the body, that spirit within you, that you. All right? That is where your focus should now be. The main you. The thing is, that you is so powerful that whatever it focuses on becomes a reality. It has the power of creation. Remember, in the Bible, in Genesis, God said, let us make man in our own image and let them have dominion. So the creative ability that God has, man also has. But which man? It is not the mind, it is not the feeling, the emotion. It is that indwelling presence within that observes the spirit of man. Whatever that presence focuses on begins to come to pass. Now, when you grasp this and see it for what it is, you begin to understand why faith works the way it works, because this will form the foundation on which what we will be teaching will be built. This is the foundation. As you understand this even more clearly, you start to detach from those crippling thoughts that you had. You see, again, like I've said, your thought is coming, all right? Your thought is coming from your mind, which has been exposed to different things in the past. Your beliefs, your desires, your memories, your experiences, your pains of the past, the culture you grew in, the things you were told, how you were treated as a child, how you were brought up, all these things is what has created the mind that you now have, that you now are running your life with. Therefore, once you understand that you are not your mind, you can now question the thoughts that come to your mind. Most people don't do that. All the thoughts that come to their mind, they consider it to be them. They are so identified with it that they are imprisoned by the limitations of their own thoughts. All right? But when you understand this, you begin to question the thoughts that come to you. Let's say, for instance, you have an interview coming. You get to the place where you're going to have an interview for a job. You meet 20, 30, 50, 100, or 200 other people waiting to be interviewed. Suddenly, a thought comes to your mind. I'll never be able to make it. These people will be better than me. Maybe the crowd there is not even that much. Let's say there are other 10 people. See, something again says in your mind, I'm not good enough. These people will be better than me. They will do better than me. Now, where is that thought coming from? See, you don't question that, but you accept that to be true, to be a fact of your life. But that thought is not you. It's an illusion. It's a lie. That thought is only coming because of your own exposure. It is because of your upbringing. It is because of your past. It is because of how you were raised and those who raised you and how they spoke to you and the memories you have and the beliefs you have. All right? These are creation of not even just you, but other people. They are the limitations of other people, all right, that they passed on to you. It is speaking to you as your thoughts. Sometimes the way your parents, spoke to you, the way they addressed you. For instance, if your parents always told you, you are a failure, look at you, look at your mates. If your parents always compared you to your mates and they always spoke of them as better and you as not good enough, why don't you try and be like this person? Why don't you try and be like that person? See, now you're an adult, all right? Now you go for that interview. The moment you see someone else there, even if it's just one person, a pattern of thoughts begin to play in your mind. That person is not, I'm not going to be good enough. That person is going to do better than me. I can't get the job. See, what's going on in your mind is a programming. Those thoughts are not you. They are simply a program running. When you begin to see your thoughts for what they are, you can detach from them. Most people are so identified with their thoughts that it leads them to failure. Okay? You can now detach from your thoughts. Now, having detached from your thoughts, you can now select any other thought you choose. Now, remember, I told you, you are not your thoughts. You are the presence behind your thought. You are the presence, the awareness, all right, that observes everything that is going on in your life. Okay, the awareness that even watches the thoughts as they come to your mind. The spirit man, that is who you are. Now that spirit man can sit back, look at those thoughts and say, no. You can flip through all of them as you're looking at those passing thoughts come to your mind. You choose which one you select, the one that serves you. You select good thoughts. You remove the wrong thought, because now you know that you are not your thoughts. You do not have to get identified with them and so intermingled with your thoughts that they cripple you. You see that? So a lot of people are living in depression, low self-esteem. It is because they have accepted a story of defeat and inadequacy that their mind is playing. And they got that from somewhere in the past, somewhere in their upbringing, somewhere in some wrong beliefs in culture. They got it somewhere, but that is not who they are, and that is not what God has said about them. And that's the same thing with you. So the first step in faith contemplation is that you must now separate yourself from your thoughts. Know who you are. You are that nameless, faceless, formless, and limitless breath of God that sits inside, just observing. And by observation, it creates the real you. By observation, creates. So what this means is that whatever you, I'm talking about the real you, the spirit man now, focuses on, magnifies. So when you allow false thoughts come to your mind, thoughts of failure, of inadequacy, of depression, stay in your mind, and you are not realizing that you are not those thoughts, you are not seeing that you have the power to discard those thoughts because they are not true. They are only a um uh, uh, a programming running, a random program. Okay, they are the random creation of a running program, and that program could have been put there by anybody. That's just the truth. Now that you are an adult, you have a responsibility to take away the wrong thoughts that run in your mind and put the right one, put it in your face, because you see, the real you, the whatever you focus on will begin to magnify in your life. We're going to speak more about this as we go along. But once you begin to do that, you see, you begin to overcome the fear. You begin to overcome the failure. You begin to see, sometimes you walk, all right, you walk into a place, let's say the interview again, you go into that place and you have that interview, you leave that place and you start thinking, I messed up. Oh, what I said, that's terrible. Nobody's going to take me. No. And then you have judged yourself. But those again are not real. They are not true. They are only the creation of that faulty mind. All right, they are the thoughts that are just passing thoughts of your mind, and when you recognize them for what they are, you throw them away. You can replace them with empowering thoughts, because the truth of the matter is that the very thing you are worried about, that is the reason why you say you have fumbled, may be the very reason why you can be chosen. You just have the wrong thoughts regarding that thing that happened. You see that? So first of all, you got to separate yourself from your thoughts, and then so that you can now deliberately select your thoughts. When we have grasped this, then we are ready to begin to put our faith to work and see massive changes in our lives. I tell you, brothers and sisters, you're about to experience a massive turnaround. This is your year of manifestation. You are going to see the things you have dreamt of manifesting in your life. You're going to see your secret desires manifesting in your life. Once you have a grasp of how faith works, you put it to work in your own life and see the power of God going into action and producing results for your life. That will be all for today. See you again tomorrow as we continue on this. God bless you.